You don't know it until it begins to work for you. Many times we say to ourselves, I know it. But trust me, you don't understand it yet until you begin to benefit from its value. 45% of rich people made their monies through businesses. 30% from what that study says got their money through investment. 30%. Only 15% got it through inheritance. 5% through high-paying jobs and 5% through entertainment. So you see that the principal way most people still made a lot of their money through businesses. However, business is not some quick rich scheme, get it fast scheme. Starting a business is not for the faint-hearted. Many people don't think about businesses because they hang too much around employees. If you hang around employees every time, what you'll be hearing is getting good jobs. And there's nothing wrong about getting a good job, but just understand that wages don't make rich, profits do. Not many people will get enough salaries in their lifetime to make a difference in their lives. So understand that there's nothing wrong with being a staff and employee of a well-paying organization, but trust me, if it is possible and you understand businesses, it's better to go that way. Which leads me to the major flaw in our educational system. Even though we begin to see a lot of schools addressing it little by little, most of our schools train us to become employees, to look for jobs. In Nigeria today, how many jobs really exist that we employ all the people graduating? There's not just enough out there. No matter how much prayer and are prayed, will not get the jobs. Why? Because the jobs are not there. But you know, the good part is that some of you have enough skills to create jobs. So what do I need to start? So if your reason for wanting to start a business is I can't work for anybody, just forget it. Don't start a business. If your reason for wanting to start a business is I need my time to myself, forget it. Don't start a business, because when you start a business, you're going to work more than when you were working for somebody. And when you are working for somebody by 4:35, you say, I'm closing. Now that you are working for yourself, it's 24 hours. Do you understand that? So you need to get your reason right. It must be passion driven. It must be reason driven. Not, I don't want to work for anybody. Not, I want to have my time to myself. Those are very strong reasons for starting a business, and they will not keep you going when the challenges show up. So let's get the statistics on business mortality rate in the United States. I checked up for Nigeria, and what I saw was that in the first 5 years of most businesses, only about 5 to 10% survive. In other words, in the current climate, in the current business environment, about 90 to 95% of businesses that are started will fail. And I know people that were doing well until they started their business. They took loans, borrowed all the money they could, and the business failed, and now they're in problem. So this is not to scare you, it's to put a balance. Don't go and resign your job immediately, but the best way, if you have a job on hand, is to start with a side hustle. You don't want to put all your eggs into one basket. You don't want to put both legs into what you are not yet sure of. And trust me, most first business owner, if it's your first time of starting a business, the likelihood of failing is very high. Why? There are so many skills you have to acquire, experience you have to gather. You have to navigate a lot of waters. In the United States, in the first 2 years, 20% of businesses fail. In the first 5 years, 45% of businesses will fail. And in the first 10 years, 65% of businesses will fail. That is in the United States. So you need to be aware of the mortality rate. This is not something to be hidden away from you so that you get there and find out. I've seen people come to me who are not aware of the challenges of businesses, and they talk about it as if they have just discovered gold. And it's good to have that level of excitement, because it's what's going to generate the inner passion you need to run. But you need to be aware of the risks by the side. Don't go and sell your father's house to start a business and say, once I do well in the business, I'll bring the money back. I'm not saying you shouldn't take risks, but there are quite a lot of things to know about the risk you are taking. In fact, I've listened to a couple of billionaires, and I remember one I was listening to said, if you go and take a heavy loan to start a business, the guy said, you are a moron. He said, because the likelihood of failing is there. Don't put all your money into it. So I want to tell you about some business, some industries that fail the most. And this it's been tested, they've checked statistics, and some of them will shock you. Number one on the list is restaurants. How many of you have visited a beautiful restaurant, well furnished, nice chefs, the ambience looking great, and there were only about 2 of you eating there? Anybody? Many people are not aware of the cost of running a restaurant. Just say, let me just run a restaurant. Sometimes it's a problem. And this statistics is global. It's global. It's not just Nigeria, that a lot of restaurants do fail. And that's not to say that restaurants don't succeed. It's just that a lot of them fail. Particularly if all you do is eat in. You don't have outdoor catering services, and you don't have complementary services added that are bringing in the money. Number 2, hotels. And why I'm mentioning this is because if you are a first-time business owner, if you can avoid these ones till much later, even if you want to go into them, it's better. Hotels. One of the reasons they fail is if they have not garnered enough client base, enough customers. Okay, so you could have 100 rooms and the level of occupancy is just 2%. And yet, guess what? The hotel business is one where customers expect 24/7 service. What about power? I mean, I can't go and pay money for a hotel to be sleeping in darkness. Like, you understand what I mean? And their reason is that they don't have enough customers. Sorry, even if I'm the only one. In a hotel, it's like you are at home. You can't do that to me, right? That's one of the reasons they fail. The overhead is huge. Another thing that fails a lot is retail, particularly the brick and mortar, not the e-commerce version. Except you have big money and you have made money in many other places, you see that retail easily fails. Okay? Independent consulting. Just come out and say, I'm now a consultant. Okay, and so what? What's your pedigree? Who knows you? I mean, for example, in the office, you are looking for a consultant. One of the first things they say, who has he consulted for? Where has he worked? Can we see his CV? Is he one of the big 4? There are quite a lot of things. And if you are not in that league, it's either you won't get the jobs, or it's only when they need peanuts. They want to give peanuts that they call, okay, just call that one. That's if you get it at all. So at the end of the day, this guy says he's his own CEO, but he's not making anything. And there are many CEOs that it's just glorified title. I'm the CEO. Don't let all the Instagram introduction fool you. I'm the CEO of Rivetti, a corporation institution. Calm down. What do you people do? How much do you make? That's what it comes to. So sometimes it fails. What other thing fails? You must have known it by now. A lot of tech companies, software companies are failing. A lot of them. Why? Because many of them don't understand business. They understand engineering, but they don't understand business. And therefore, they start their business, develop the softwares, gather a lot of overheads, believing that funding will come, and funding never comes. And when funding does not come, or funding dries up, everything goes out of the picture. So you see, a lot of software companies, tech companies are dying because of this. But that's not to say many are not succeeding. For example, in Nigeria, we know that we had Flutterwave, we've had Paystack. I mean, doing very well in the fintech space, and there are so many others. But you need to study those models very well to know how they were able to succeed where others are not succeeding. And you need to really have a great idea, a brilliant idea, not to be eaten up by the sharks in that space, because they are sharks. All they are just looking for are ideas. And if you have done the idea, all they need to do is they just build their own. Or if God helps you, they call you, say, okay, let's buy you over. We think we like what you are doing. And if you say, no, I'm not selling, why not? You could be like some of the ones that have made it. But I've also seen people like the other one, a bigger company offered to buy them, and this guy said, no, we're not selling. And guess what? A few months later, they went bankrupt. I believe very strongly in my heart that not everybody is going to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody will be successful as business owners. So a business owner must be able to spot business opportunities in everything. Wow, I see something I can do there. Wow, I see an area I can play there. It's a very important skill. And when we say opportunities, number one, it is where the business in this thing. For example, when you look at WhatsApp, what is the business in WhatsApp? And why did Meta buy it over? What business is there in a WhatsApp? How do they make money from WhatsApp? Have you thought about that? Anytime you say this thing is free, know that it's costing somebody something. WhatsApp may be free to you, but it costs the owner a lot. Why did the parent company of Facebook buy Meta over since it's free? I want you to think about that. But think about this, that business is about identifying opportunities. What opportunities exist in this? For example, normal people will say, wow, I think I'm at a disadvantage living in Nigeria. But have you asked yourself, why is it that some white people are coming here and living here? Now, I know that in the current climate, a lot of businesses are now leaving, but some of them are not living permanently. Some of them are just watching from outside that if something improves, we are coming back. What do you think it's like that? Why do you think that some of the biggest companies in Nigeria today, at least lately, many of them are owned by people who had traveled out and who came back into Nigeria? They are identified opportunity. One opportunity is the population. If you can do something for over 200 million people, it's very difficult to go bankrupt that way because there is the sheer population. So, business opportunity. So, for example, you are in this church, and one thing you could ask yourself, one thing a business owner, the real business owner will be asking himself is, what can I do that a lot of people in the church here need, such that almost all of the people in the church will be patronizing me? That's really what business is about. You look for something that a lot of people are into, or you look for a high margin good or product or service, and that's it, you're rich. So a business owner needs to be able to identify opportunity. If you are the type that say, I don't know what to do, I can't see anything, please just look for a job and be doing fine at your job. Because it's not just the first identification of the opportunity a business owner needs. It needs to constantly identify opportunities. He also needs to be able to identify value. Now, for so many years, and I think probably even now, Amazon is not making money. Is somebody hearing me? There's revenue, but no profit. Okay? I didn't check what their current financials say, but for a very long time, we call such businesses loss leaders. The owner knows that he's not making money and is deliberately selling below his cost price. So he's making a loss on that business. But there's a reason he's doing that. Number one could be to kill the competition. He has money. So say, you are coming against me. It brings the value down such that the competition, they are holding business meetings every day. Say, how is he doing it? How is he able to fix that price? And the numbers are not agreeing. And the reason they are not agreeing is because the number cannot agree. You are dealing with somebody who has the capital Okay, so he's making losses deliberately, and when every one of you has now left the business, it will now come up again. That could be a reason. Another reason is because he's using that product to sell another product. So even though he's making a loss in A, he's using A to sell B, and when you put A and B together, it's making a profit. That's actually what is happening to Amazon. So you must be able to identify value. What can I do that can be exchanged for value? You know, sometimes people come and ask you for money and beg you for money. When people come like that, one of the things that happen is you assist. But when it keeps happening, even an adult does not feel like wanting to come. Do you know what I'm talking about? Now, versus somebody came one day and said, Pastor, I've written a book. And when I looked at it, actually it's a booklet. Very, very tiny, like this. I can finish it in 20 minutes. But because he brought a product to me, I have this value I want to contribute. He brought it. And guess what? I was compelled, because it's just natural to appreciate effort. You want to appreciate people's effort. I think I gave him 20,000 naira or so. That was many years ago now. For just a few pages. I think he probably was selling the book for 500 naira or 300 naira, because it was many years ago. But what happened? For that effort, I gave him 20,000 naira. So identify business, identify value. It's a skill every business owner needs. So the assignment I'm going to give you is this. Just look around you here. What are business opportunities that you can see? Your ability to identify opportunities is so important, and it reflects in the way you do your things every time. Identifying opportunities. What can I do? Why is it like this? Why is that not like that? There was a time a brother here decided to go into laundry business, and guess what? He told each of us that, sir, I'm into laundry business. It's not enough to just pray that God will bless me. I'm now doing business. I said, well, if you can iron my clothes very well and bring it out very beautifully, you have my business going forward. And guess what? When he did the first one, he did it so well, so nice, that I said, that is it. Without all the overhead, he was doing it so well. I even offered to do home service. So he comes to your house with his iron, you give him a table, he uses your electricity, and he does everything that he needs to do, and by evening, he is gone. A small business. And he can graduate from that to an agency. As he has more clients, he employs more people who can support him in that venture. Why? Because he has identified an opportunity. It's an agency somebody can start. What about a cleaning agency? You hire cleaners. They are not going to be permanent staff. They are going to be ad hoc staff. Most of them will be working in corporate organizations as cleaners, but whenever you need them, if you tell them ahead, they can take time off work, or you put your cleaning on weekends. What do you need to start? A business card. Then you say to everybody in the house, we do deep cleaning. We do this type of cleaning. You study a lot about it. Okay, we can sweep our houses every day, but there are some types of cleaning that you need a professional to come and do. That is it. We can give you business. At least you can come once in a while to the house and clean the house and just do it in a way we will not be able to do it ourselves. And 2-3 people give you their business here. You are a business owner. Don't always think I have to manufacture something from China or I have to do something big. Many big businesses started small because their owners were able to identify opportunities. How do I identify opportunities? Well, or how do I learn? Because it's a skill. It's something you can learn. Many of us, we are not trained to be able to learn some of these things. A lot of our study don't help us with identification of opportunities. We just fix it and it begins to work, but we don't get deep into research. Now, if you're going to do business and you're going to succeed at it, you have to be able to look and see what others cannot see. You have to be able to look and say, I see opportunities here. For example, one of our brothers who is now doing his PhD in the USA, how did I know him? I was looking for a chess teacher for my children. Now, Growing up, there were a few things I did, and I said to myself, my children are going to do all of these things, because some of these things open up other parts of your brain for use. And then I got somebody online who said, oh yeah, I'm coming on this day, blah, blah, blah. And the day it came and it didn't come, I sent someone. And in talking to the person is sent, his representative, I understood that actually it's an agency. The person I first spoke with owns an agency, and he has employed a lot of teachers under him. The person that came first class from, I think he studied petroleum engineering or something, from one of our universities here, but at this time he hadn't gotten a job, and he plays chess. So he signed up with the agency as a facilitator, and this agency provides home service, chess, and then they go to schools and run their chess curriculum. So if you have chess clubs, this agency can provide the teachers. You don't have to have full-time teachers. They just come once in a while, depending on your schedule and your pay. And this was what he was doing. Now today, this brother is done so well for himself. He's traveled abroad, but the agency continues. They just provide one person. And I've seen chess agency, I've seen music agency. Music, you have your music business. You hire music people, maybe instrumentalists. You provide schools. You go to schools. You say, you don't need a permanent music teacher. You just need to hire our agency, where we always provide you with people that come around. And before you realize it, it's a big business agency. How? Because you identified opportunities. So how do I do it? Now, for me, number one, because it's a skill you can learn. There's a book, How It All Started, where they profiled a few companies and they went into how they all started. When you see how other people started their business, it will give you idea. It begins to open up other parts of you that you did not know existed. That's why real business owners always read. Always. If you are not reading, you are not likely to be a business owner. Now, sometimes I go to a website called indiehackers.com. Indiehacker is I-N-D-I-E, hackers, Hackers.com. Now, what it does is to give the profile of some businesses people have started. I just read it. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I didn't see the business in that thing until I read this. And if somebody has done it, it means it can be replicated. I have found out personally that the more you read about people's businesses, the more business ideas, you generate. But until you can identify opportunities, don't start a business, because you will just be frustrated. About last year, there was a website I saw, and I think I saw them through Indie Hackers too. This guy started a side hustle. What he began to do was to interview a lot of founders, how they started their business, and interviewed them a lot. When he got a sizable number, he started a business from it. And now in this business, he has profiled a lot, and he keeps adding every time about the business people do, how they started it, how much they started with, how they got the initial capital, quite a lot that the details are so clear you almost can replicate that model. But it's not free. So I got some money. When he was doing a promo, I bought a lifetime subscription. And now with that subscription, I have access to how literally thousands of businesses, how they started. And from time to time, I look through, okay. When you learn from other people's wisdom, you get wisdom. In case you've been saying to yourself, maybe that's the reason I don't know about how to start businesses, I agree with you. When you cannot generate these ideas, it's a big problem. A business owner needs to be able to identify opportunities, problems he can solve, doubts he can clear, services he can offer. How may I be of help? How may I be of service? Is there something I can do to help? This is how businesses really, really start. Number 3, a business owner needs communication skills. So selling could be part of it, but it's not the only thing. You have to be able to communicate the brand. You have to be able to tell people why your brand is better. You have to be able to sell the vision to your employees, to other stakeholders. You have to be able to sell the vision to those who want to put their money into it. It's so important, communication. Then you have to be able to identify talent. Now, I said identify opportunities, but also identify talent. Some of the biggest businesses became big because of the people they hired. It's not necessarily always because the owner is smart. Sometimes it's because he hired smart people. Surround yourself with smart people. A business owner must learn or have the skills of raising capital. If you don't know how to raise capital, you can't do business. Business requires money. And it's a skill. I was watching a video of Robert Kiyosaki the other day, and he was talking to somebody how he bought a gold mine. And the person said, that's a lot of money. How did you raise that money? Then he said to the guy that he was in Vancouver, and they saw a group of billionaires that were into gold mines having a business meeting. So he joined. And from there, they taught him how to raise the money. So this guy was like, but I will never have that kind of money. And he said to this guy, because you don't have the knowledge about how to raise that kind of money. If you're going to be a business owner, you need to learn how to raise capital. So one of the assignments you could take home today is this. What is the maximum amount I think I can raise today? If you had to ask yourself, can I raise 5 million naira today? Can I raise 20 million naira if I need to really raise 20 million naira? This is a skill, and it's not something that prayer will solve. It's something you need to learn. How do people raise money? There are many ways, particularly since we are talking business. How do I raise money for my business? Number one could be savings. Now, savings will not save you. Savings will not make you wealthy. But there could be targeted saving against a particular need. I want to save 5,000 naira monthly over the next 12 months. How much will that be in 12 months' time? I'm going to approach 10 people that I already have 60,000 naira. I'm going to 500. Now, if somebody meets you, say he wants 500,000 but he doesn't have anything, and the second person meets me saying he wants to raise 500 but he has 60, I'm going to attend more to the person that has 60. Why? It's the way life is. He has demonstrated enough commitment to put his skin in the game. This one, no skin in the game. Are you with me? So you want to meet people, but you're at zero. Instead of meeting them at zero, say to them, I have my seed capital. This is my own part. I got 60,000 naira. So you can save towards it. So how do I have that savings? Wow. I don't want to start all of that today. We've talked about it a lot. By not buying clothes. By not buying shoes. Sometimes what you eat is the reason you are not able to eat your target. So please, put money aside. Save money. At least for that small. There are some of you that are serving. Target the end of your service year. By the end of my service year, I want to have this much in my account. It's the beginning of everything, literally. My son met me yesterday and said to me, Daddy, I have some amount in my savings. But he wanted to do something with it, which I think he shouldn't be doing with his money at this phase of his life. But what impressed me was that he said he has some money in his savings. And I asked him how he got them. Then he said there were some games he played commercially online and he won and he got some money and he put some. I was impressed because that is an entrepreneurial spirit at work. You said this thing is a spirit. But when you say, I don't make money, how is it that an adult is not making any money? It should worry you, shouldn't it? It should. There's joy in making something no matter how small it is. There's great joy in that. So, raising capital starting with your savings. Another thing that is possible is partnership. I've identified this big idea. It looks so nice. But I don't know how I'm going to raise the money. Get into partnership. Meet people that you think have it. And say to them, can we partner in this project? I have this idea. I'm going to run it. But I want you on board. So you are going to be a financing partner. I'm going to be an active partner. I'll be the one running the business, but we are in this together. And we share the profit. That's what partnership is about. You know why many people are not getting into business? They are saving money to register the business. That's not the business. The business is really in what is bringing in the money. You can register later, depending on the country you are. That's something you can do. And you can even go into another one called equity financing. Equity means stake. So you're saying to this person, you know, this business, I don't have the money for you, but I'm so sure it's going to make money. Or, I've started this business, it's already making this, but we want it to grow. We need this money. And your own reward is that you're going to have 40% of the company. You're going to have 30% of the company. You're going to have 50% of the company. We call it equity financing. They bring in money, you give them a part of the business. So, everybody is happy. You know what is killing small mind? No, it's my business. I must have everything. My friend said it this way, that it's better to own 10% of an elephant than to own 100% of a rat. It's my business, I'm the CEO. Nobody is fighting with you on your title. Have you observed that every big business is owned by many? It's rare to, when businesses get to a level, they go public. When we say something has gone public, what does it mean? It means that they have sold a part of the business to other investors. So, people of God, one of the great things you can do is to do equity financing. Maybe it can help you to move forward. Where do you start from? Very simple. Draw up a proposal. Equity financing can get you off the ground rather than looking for when you will not be able to save enough. You say, what I would need is 20 million naira. But what you can save, let's say your salary today is 200,000. I know that most companies don't pay 200,000 for starters. Most companies, and I've seen a lot of remuneration package lately. From even big companies that I expected were doing a lot, but a lot of them are around the 100, 120 region. Your salary is 100K. Let's even say, when I say you cut down everything, you are not eating, you are not doing anything, you are not drinking water, you're able to save the 100. You are not breathing. If you save 100,000 naira per month, how much is that? 1.2 million. How long will it take you to save 20 million naira that you are looking at? Is somebody with me? So savings alone cannot get you there. You need to look for other financing model. A business owner must be able to raise capital. And the other thing is debt financing. So raising capital through your savings starts, partnership, equity financing, debt financing. Debt financing means you take a loan. Debt, D-E-B-T. You take a loan. If I get this amount, the reward for equity will be dividend. The reward for debt will be interest. So, if I take this loan, I'll pay back this in this number of years. That's how you can also do it. Somebody who trusts you, who believes in your integrity, gives you a loan. But be careful. Don't go and take a loan and put all your legs into this business will not fail. There was one I got to know recently, and the business owner, the visionary, runs another business, but he wanted to get into a new line of business, and thank God he shared it with me. I ran the model. I'm an accountant. I ran the model for him, and I said to him, there are too many risks in this, your assumptions. And I stress test a few of the variables. I said, if this part fails, you are in deep problem. And he was going to do debt financing where he will commit to paying a monthly interest. So I said, don't do that. I gave him another idea instead. Why don't you try this? It's a business you're just testing out. So, thank God, he took to my advice. He didn't go for the debt financing. We were able to get the financing through other vehicles. There are so many vehicles. Brick financing through there. There are many other vehicles. So, we were able to get some of the amount. I told him to phase the implementation. Don't go straight. Phase the implementation. Let's just run this for what we call proof of concept. So, we ran that part, and guess what? His assumptions were not working. My assumptions that this part can fail, and if this part fails, everything is failed. That was what happened. All the money are not coming in because a portion failed. And one day he said, thank you, sir, because you saved me. By now, I would have gotten the money. I would have been paying interest on a business that is not working. So, please be careful about using debt financing to run your business because it could kill your business. So raising capital is a very, very important point. Businesses can build wealth. Why? Because you could build the business up to a point where it becomes a passive income. An active income is the one where you're working yourself. And employment is an active income. If you're providing the service yourself, is an active income. Like a doctor who owns an hospital, that is active if he is the only doctor there. It only becomes passive when he employs other doctors and he doesn't have to be there. Do you understand that? So a business can become a passive income model, and then you can start other businesses. I watched the video of a young lady who said she owns 26 companies. And she said the secret is outsourcing. She outsources a lot of them. She started this so that, and then she got into this, and then she got into this, so it's not giving her a headache. With multiple vehicles like this, you will be able to fulfill the principle. There's one key principle to wealth creation, which is multiple sources of income. You are not likely to be able to build wealth with just a single source of income. You're likely to build wealth with multiple sources of income. So it's not going to take a job that will take all your life away. It won't get you anywhere really. You need to quickly save some money, get out of there so that you can have multiple, sources of income. I watched another man who explained how he became wealthy. He said he became a millionaire in dollars at the age of 24. He said the first one, he began to save and save and save, denied himself of a lot of things because of a targeted saving. He said, and when he had gotten some money, and I think he got other money with it, it's in the US, not here. We don't have that environment. So some of the things some of them are able to do, we may find it a bit difficult in Nigeria. So he got some money, enough for what is called a down payment. When you want to buy a house, let's say in the US, and you have a good credit score, if you have an amount, they call it down payment. In some places, it could be 20% of the property you want to buy. That is all you need actually with a good credit score. So you put it down, then they give you a mortgage over 30 years, depending on your age. So with the down payment and the mortgage over 30 years, so let's say, for example, you want to buy a house that is worth $100,000, okay? With 20% down payment, all you need to have in cash is $20,000. And the house becomes yours. You start living in it because there's a mortgage. Now, listen to it. The mortgage is paid every month. You pay to the financing company every month, because the owner would have gotten his money. You pay the financial institution. Now listen, so for him, he got a house with a basement and he rented out the basement. Now listen, what the rent on the basement was enough to pay his mortgage. So he was living upstairs, rented out the basement for an amount big enough to pay his mortgage. So he was living free. Meanwhile, he had title to the house. So with that title to the house, he got a second house. He said by the time he was 24, he already had, I think, 15 homes or so, all rented out, bringing in money. And he said he was making $12,000 monthly at 24. While we may not be able to implement every part of it if you are here in Nigeria because of the environment here, but we can learn a lot from those things. Hallelujah. Digital marketing agencies are making it a lot these days. You learn how to run digital marketing, then you set up an agency to offer services to other people. E-commerce services are making it a lot these days. It's never been easier to import from China. You can bring in things and you don't even need so much inventory. You just need an online marketplace. You sign up with a phone, and I've seen a lot of it locally here. And a guy was interviewed, I saw the video. The guy, 24 years old, owns a yacht. And they asked him what he does for a living. He said he's into e-commerce. Big time e-commerce. For how long? He said 4 years. What's the revenue like? He said the previous year before that interview, the revenue was $32 million. So out of the $32 million, profit was $19 million in e-commerce. Now again, you have to study the climate very well. Jumia didn't make profit for a very long time, even though they're into e-commerce in Nigeria. So you have to study. I'm just giving you a lot of ideas, which is why you're going to be a business owner, reading a lot has to be your thing. Hallelujah. We can do businesses because it fulfills, number one, passive income. Number two, multiple streams of income. And little by little, if you gradually begin to build this, it can work for you. One of the key model is side hustle. You may not be able to start, for most people, with just off like that. You may need a 9 to 5 to get you started. You may need other ways of raising capital to get you started. But by and large, it's something that every one of us needs to consider. Glory be to God.